Right. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Then and Now Media Empire platform, and we are live on a very, very important program with very important guests. And I believe for the very first time, these two guests are appearing on the Then and Now platform. And I've been just want to make that known. So today, the 13th of June, repeat, we are middle of the year. So today, the 13th of June, 2021, it's a Sunday, at which time we can hold the Then and Now program based on the week in review. But just a quick one, I guess, forgive me, because normally I don't do this. But in 2 days, just 2 days ago was my birthday. And the birthday, I've been trying to, I try to be very economical with the birthday. In other words, I describe unto one my friend, play for laugh. In other words, I can be Jehovah Witness with my birthday. And then some time ago, because before now, the birthday was being celebrated lavishly. But as you grow up, you find out, say, priority then belongs some other side. But the message happened for spill out, and people insist. And I appreciate that. I know they say that, out of emotions only, but they insist that this birthday, we will make a lot of noise about her. And it surprised me in the sense that when I go on social media, different platforms, I see me pictures and birthday wishes was all over the place, and I feel very loved. And I've been just want to use my own very platform, the Then and Now platform, for also wish myself a happy belated birthday, and thanks and praises to all the one that will wish me a happy birthday, belated, before, or wherever. I really appreciate that. But the struggle goes on, and I think so I say at some point. So the emotions of the birthday go away, and we come down to reality. So Fambulem, at this point in time, I want to bring una to reality, which is on today, the 13th of June, 2021, they host a program where we call the Week in Review. And there are many new things that we want to introduce. And surely enough, we go find time for introduce them, although not the fourth episode this, but the Week in Review, Boku things involve, okay? So we want to know, first of all, who that they host the program and why they host the program. So here it is. It's not strange. It's just... That's the Then and Now platform, green, white, and blue. And I know say most people are observed and the rotating globe. That's what we represent. The information is in the power. And me, now presenter today. Thank you so much. But family, here's the thing. Let me get down to reality. Let we mass real ground. Let we left the, the test and etc. For today, we got two people that went at the first time I believe they appear on the Then and Now. And one of them, we did at different parts of the globe, for example. So one of them happened to be Mr. Domingo, a man where I met somewhere else, and I've come to listen to him, and I've come to appreciate him in these we struggles, where the common denominator is about the country Sierra Leone. Yes, we all do have our objectives, but in between, we can able for assess and admit which we really represent. And this is now Harold Domingo. Harold, I don't know you much, I must admit, in this public broadcast, but you get the opportunity for introduce yourself to Fambulem, sir.
Well, me Fambulem, I want to tell you all kushe and greetings from Toronto in Canada, Nademi Day. And also, let me take this opportunity for thank Mr. Prince Kroma for inviting me to this program and give me the opportunity for us to discuss and engage together about things that really happen in our country. I don't do overseas for many, many years. I been tell me, co-guest Naya, say I don't travel all over the United States, and then I moved to Canada about 11 years ago. So again, I don't want for take up much time. I just want for make on know say, we as Sierra Leoneans then we all get for join together, hang heads together for make we country go before. And with that, I go turn them back to Mr. Kroma. We're going to take over the program.
Many, many thanks for that, Mr. Domingo. Do really appreciate that. On the other hand, we also get a brother we I meet on social media. And honestly, this is my first time. I see some of him postings and etc. And it sounds very, very appealing. And on that basis, I say, look, brother, this is what we are hosting here on the Then and Now. And we try for harness the different views or opinions of Sierra Leoneans as a whole. And on that basis, this is one of the programs, we latest program called The Week in Review. And since you expressed their sentiments there, why not join we on The Week in Review and see how we can chart the cause going forward? And the brother gladly appreciated and accepted that. And on this basis, I want to give the opportunity to another first timer, Mr. Mohamed Turay, whom I met on the internet or Wi-Fi or whatever you want to call on social media, for introducing himself.
All right, thank you, Mr. Priscoma. First, I get for confess, I don't follow you. I can follow up all the talk show the way they post on social media, YouTube, and I very kind of admire you. Me na Mohamed Turay, I live in the United States. They precisely in Virginia, where I live. I want to thank you, Mr. Kroma, for giving me the opportunity for come be part of this discussion today. And as my brother, Mr. Domingo said, we all for join together and then discuss about common issues and what they happen in our country. But we don't know would God bless for talk sense and where people would listen. So this opportunity can come number once for the time. So we thank you, and I thank you personally for making I can be part of this discussion. So I send over this to you, the mic to you again. So I look forward for participate today. Thank you.
Many, many thanks, my dear brother. And so Fambule Munaro for ourselves. And again, a traditional thing where we can do now for help for share this video far and wide. You know, I know say we are many, but here we try for be very objective as much as we can. But remember, say we not more among them, and we're prone to mistakes. We're prone to many, many, many things. So there are things which you will not agree with us, but when are things that we can take on board and we can try for better ourselves going forward. So again, this is not the Week in Review. This is not episode 4, the Week in Review. Now a program where we can try for look back on many of the things that happened from the beginning of the week, the things that will make the news, serious news, we make the headlines. And then we try for contextualize them, we try for capture them, we look for people in the brilliant minds in the community. We bring them come so they can help with for analyze them. Such is the case here tonight. So for begin with, I want to begin with the judiciary of the country. There are many things we will try for capture in a short period of time because there are so many things ongoing. So the judiciary, Mr. Domingo, all the way from Canada. The judiciary sometimes is applauded for being very independent, very free and open. And at other times, it is said to be compromised. But one thing we underline in the judiciary is it appear, and I repeat the word, appear like say the judiciary is always compromised depending on the government with the power, because the judiciary can sort of bend towards that particular government they within a power. But in this sense, I wonder we just touch on the Kamarimba story. Kamarimba story is a very popular story in the sense that it only trend the internet or social media for many, many weeks, if not months. What are your view about the Kamarimba story, contextually, the judiciary of the Republic of Sierra Leone, sir?
Well, thank you very much for that question, Day. And myself, I strongly believe, say, the judiciary therefore be independent from the other branches of government. Typically, the way I say salon government day, now like how the United States government day, then get the judiciary, then get the executive branch, and then get the legislative branch. So the legislative branch, now parliament, when they make laws. Then the executive branch, of course, I did the president day. And the judiciary, now them also then they act as that check and balance between the other two branches of government, especially for the executive branch. So now, if you get a system where the judiciary is compromised because of maybe leaning to one side of the government or what have you, then we get a problem there for begin with. And that make we defend ourselves in situations then, wherein many times then they reach conclusions then or judgments then, where they rule based on the merits of the case. And now for Thai, which I just talked so with Mr. Kamarimba, it's unfortunate that, you know, whatever he was alleged to have done, they don't take him, the law don't bet him because it did like the book say, you know, for touch minor and that kind of stuff. But there's also processes then with the courts get for follow for make sure say they give Mr. Kamarimba due process. We don't know the whole get our country is that a man is presumed innocent until proven otherwise. So now the court system now then gets for proof beyond all reasonable doubt the person in guilt or innocence. But now, waiting me don't follow from Mr. Kamarimba in case, and waiting I don't see now the crystallize in on social media or the news media and what have you, is the fact say the government in case not stronger that way, and then don't hold Mr. Kamarimba for, I don't know if you don't pass 1 year, where you don't be in custody without giving him the opportunity. They say, okay, well, you get for do this or you get for do that, or make him in such a way that in thing, you know, let it prove himself innocent and let the courts then able for waiting. So with that said, we still have a long way to go because of the way the judiciary they act. And not only on Mr. Kamarimba in case, there are many, many other cases there where it look like for say, the judiciary, they side with the government of the day, which should not be allowed in a republic like Sierra Leone, where with democracy is still in its infant stages. You know, we're young and with democracy, and we therefore give people then the opportunity for defend themselves in our court. Anybody, it can be me, it can be you, Mr. Kroma, or it can be to me, other colleague here on the program. So I will stop there for now and give the opportunity to, you know, to the other guest.
Very much appreciated, Mr. Domingo. No disappointments there. Well articulated, sir. So I take this to Mr. Mohamed Turay, where I believe resides somewhere in the United States of America. And here is the thing, Mr. Turay. There are questions about the judiciary. As you can hear, we brought earlier on, the last speaker, it cleverly articulate, manipulate in way through what is supposed to be a very contentious issue. But bringing this to you in terms of the judiciary and its independence in inverted commas, the case studier, Mr. Kamarimba Mansare, are going to introduce one or two more going forward. How much faith do you have in this judiciary being one of independence or one way actually depending on the prevailing authority as we speak?
Well, thank you, Mr. Kroma, and thank you, Mr. Domingo, for that brilliant presentation. First of all, the judiciary, as we all know, is not independent at all. In Sierra Leone, there's always been a lot of challenges where confront the judiciary, and there are, we will say, there are multi-dimensional challenges them where the judiciary gets. And among them, we know there's always delays in trial. We know, say, the judiciary basically a lack impartiality, and above all, independence at all. The reason is, the government of the day get the power and the chance for hire and fire the highest kind of level of those who are in charge. So if the Chief Justice, the President, and they appoint him, and other judges, and the President is just appoint, so there's always a chance that anyone where they think this person, either in contributions or induce them, then contrary to the government of the day, then go take action against that individual day. And we don't see how many times where they happen. Now, I believe, where they will conclude the findings of those who launched this major kind of investigations about the war in Sierra Leone, and just one of the conclusions we then make, they bring in the judiciary, because we don't want to go back to the old system wherein people they lose their own kind of rights because the government of the day believes if anyone they against what they stay, what they stand for, then go find a way for take care of them. The independence of judiciary in our own case is far from the possibility, because as we all know, the government of the day, now they hire and fire the leadership of the judiciary, like the Chief Justice and major judges. And let me just come to this man, very unfortunate for Kamarimba, because Kamarimba, I don't think the due process of the law has been applied, and the chance for let it could defend himself successfully, they not give him that chance. Then lock him up, and that's basically just shows in your rights, then violating your rights. And whether this man didn't commit this offense or not, let it allow a trial, and let it allow for defend himself in the way he's supposed to be as a citizen of Sierra Leone. But this is not happening. And find out, not to in one no more, don't go through that kind of pain and suffering day. It did say other people they get a voice from outside to able to defend them. So in the interest of peace, because we all believe, Sierra Leone just come up from conflict, and the wounds of the war, then still they are among many people that minds them. It would be very difficult or impossible if, for settled conflicts and get general lasting peace, if the judiciary, they continue for violate the human rights of people due to the wishes of the government of the day. So I think, Mr. Kamarimba face a situation we're very, not supposed for face him. The only reason we face him now because the judiciary in Sierra Leone is not independent. The trial, they don't delay him because they believe, this man, by keeping him there, then will achieve the objective in some way. So now that I get Mr. Akoma.
Yeah, I think, just for add to what you say, because the fact of the matter is we don't see how the judiciary don't interfere with politics also in our country. And going back to the previous administration, there was a case between Ali Bangoa v. Somano Kapen and 26 others. This is not something will be happening within the SLPP itself. And because at the time where the government of the day being they at that time, they end them in kind of like they interfere with the internal politics of SLPP, they allowed a particular case for linger in court for a long period of time, till such a time when the case finally come up, the judge say that the case don't pass in statute of limitation, meaning that the case don't so say that they're not going to judge on them anymore. So what happened is that the judge now then give some points of recommendations to the SLPP and say, when I go back and I go solve on a problem. You cannot have a system like that, wherein you get a major political party we then get certain things then for address. Then on our left the case for linger in courts because the government of the day back then been one time for happen that way. And we see the same thing they repeat. With this new government can the Chief Justice will be there, then hurriedly push him out of office and bring in somebody new. We go continue for just play to the tune and stuff. So if you don't get independence in judiciary, then we don't have a country. Because Mr. Turay, honestly, if you're that we go into business and you allot me pan business, you take me money, I can't go to court. If you get Sababu pass me in a court, I either win that case.
Yes.
You tell me, say bye-bye. The same with Mr. Kroma. May you two go court. If me get Sababu pass you, let me win the case. Judiciary, they're not for it, because then for the rule on the merits of the case, there are certain laws within the books where they tell you, say, if you arrest somebody by so and so time, if you don't bring charges against her, like you also bring another recent example where happened, Sylvia Blyden. The arrest time, it take many weeks before finally they levy charge on that woman day. That's not for the Akonari country. These are some of the things that we should be speaking up against so that democracy will become strengthened and we self will get faith in the political system. Because without that judiciary, they be strengthened and be independent, then nothing else matters in our country.
Thank you so much, Mr. Domingo. I go come back to that. The points then where you raise, I come to you, Mr. Turay, and this is exactly what we expect. The trading of ideas, whether we agree or disagree. And this is what this platform is trying to create. So we can have this national conversation in which the only beneficiaries will be the people of the Republic. Thank you so much. But I'll come back to that. I just want to pick up on one or two things where Mr. Domingo say we are actually agree with in terms of a system where there's a critical word where we call sababu. And everybody else when they watch this program or subsequently get for watch them, understand what Mr. Domingo they say. I will take on them at some point on how we can change this nomenclature. Something needs to change. And another thing what we want to ask him, based on this same judiciary issue, is one of another key case where the trend presently na social media in the country as a whole, that of a young man called Michael Mansare, I believe, who happened to be, I think, the youth leader of the All People's Congress. And we've been expressing opinion and say one or two things and waiting ever happen. But I know say Mr. Turay put up his hand because he wants to say something to which Mr. Domingo speak earlier on. So on the basis of fairness, Mr. Turay, the floor is yours, please.
All right, thank you very much. What thing I be want to say is, I been just want for add say, for we as God don't give we this wisdom and the people like you for create them from there, we will exchange ideas. As we discuss, I think the next thing we'll for do is for begin ask the questions, like a question like say, what in the intervention will we all get for make? Because I believe say we go discuss this all along, but if we not get for find out the intervention, how we go able influence this particular kind of action we the current government take, they're not go left. Because I believe say there are people in this government we go listen, but it left for let we take the action, not to fact. We get several ways. Today, social media don't they? And thank God to social media, we will share ideas. So as we go along this now briefly, we'll say, let we know left out, waiting will be real intervention as they happen. So now that might be one add day. But if you want to make a talk a little bit about this man, Mansare, then I'll go able to talk. But I left the thing to you. Thank you.
Okay. The floor is all yours at the moment because Mr. Domingo don't make a very critical, a very tangent, very cogent point in terms of the judiciary we'll talk about. So the floor is all yours in the sense that there is another case in terms of the reference we'll make earlier on, which is that of a young man who was different interpretations in the terms of how he was apprehended. na bo, which is that of the APC youth leader, Mr. Michael Magba Mansari, okay, who we believe is presently under the custody of the government, okay?
Yeah.
The brother expressed, and we call everybody brother. I will not take the connotation differently because I call him brother now. You want to associate me, say, when this type of people are they call brother, not other people. No, every Sierra Leonean is my brother. I hope I've made that point clear. So this brother expressed in constitutional duties by expressing in opinion the way how we feel and many other things after. On that basis, he was picked up. Today, we're not sure of waiting exactly they go on, because if we were to listen to social media and many of the other things, it will sound so funny and so petty of a judiciary, but we left space. Michael, as we understand, is now being charged for something which initially he wasn't being picked up on. In other words, what we understand now, instead of that expression the way he make, we know say now they understand say he's being charged for drug-related offenses in possession of pain relief drug. I don't know how much of this you know, but this is what we are hearing. And if you understand this and you know much more, help we and the audience for please understand within the situation.
Well, thank you very much. I mean, we get a similar kind of experience in relation to what you just expressed. I remember I did different groups then get for somebody being post this thing immediately whether black. It didn't the feel the very day we post them, we share them, we all admire this guy. Now we believe say the Constitution of Sierra Leone, it guarantees freedom of expression, just like other freedom and rights, assembly and everything. But this man, unfortunately, been gets himself arrested by just expressing a new constitutional right for talk about the development the way APC make. And it's true because this is very symbolic. There is this particular field we say now APC 9 contribute to this. And I don't feel say if will be subjected to that inhuman and treatment. First of all, then take them out, be well close, you go see semi-naked, and then charge them, of course, as you said, Mr. Kuma, with this so funny and ridiculous sort of charge, because they don't get anything for time too. We all know, say, the SLPP administration has been using libel and sedition kind of laws, and primarily for target journalists them and individuals them, where they become very critical of the administration. And we know, say, anybody will report on corruption, and even as early as 2019 about electoral kind of violence and everything, they know they waste time to arrest you. So it's so funny that they're not able to pin this guy into anything that is very significant. They go pin up paracetamol or Panadol, they meet him with him. Even if they don't meet a factory of this man for getting drugs in there. So how then go arrest this man? First, now vigilante groups then individuals and go arrest them. Now then go do so. And if they take this guy, let's say he do something, after 72 hours, he has to be released. And they allow him, like how we go back to the judiciary, because judiciary now a system naturally would be say, like how Mr. Domingo also said, when you get power, you will get the chance, you get the power for able to seize other possible advantage because you go by justice. But in this case, this man get problem with bill, but in the interest of peace in that country, like how we
okay, Mr. Turay, now just for time constraints. Okay. So
thank you.
From your opinion, it sounds like a miscarriage, I go suppose.
Absolutely.
I might be wrong. Okay.
Yes.
So I just want to bring that quickly because Mr. Domingo, they don't make an assessment of the judiciary. But on this specific case, just want to ask him whether there's any opinion, because there's a lot trending. because there's so much propaganda that we all have to be careful. Michael was picked up because of that. Michael is being incarcerated because of that. Michael is being charged because of that. So let me hear another view. Mr. Domingo, what's your view on this Michael case, sir? Suppose you must have heard something.
Yes, I agree about the case. For me, I can always forget facts them and make an analysis or come to a judgment or conclusion based on my findings. The first thing that I heard was that, okay, this guy was picked up for something the way he say, but later on and go charge him for paracetamol, which not to as controlled substance and what have you. Now, but I don't want to conflate the issues then, because now arrest them. The case not reach yet in a court. So this gentleman, this youth leader, he not get the opportunity yet, or in lawyer where they defend them, not get an opportunity yet for going to court for go say, okay, my client this or my client that. So let we stick to the fact, say, policeman don't arrest and pick him up for something. It's just like you and I, Mr. Turay, you live in Virginia, myself don't live in an area there. With a drive in a street, then maybe because of the color of his skin or what have you, policeman pull me over. So I'm saying you get joints, then fend on a motorcar. Or they can plant evidence if they want for carry go down, as we can say now. If they want carry go down, they can plant evidence by you. I feel say this gentleman is unfortunate that they rope him into something where something they don't aim him, but then just say try now for say, okay, let we put on our son side, we go learn and sense. Not only the first possible thing it happened, no. It happened to just made Suma under the previous administration.
Yeah.
It happened to Sylvia Blyden. And again, I say that thing here, so forgive tangible evidences, them things that we don't happen in the most recent past. We very, very clear now we mind delicate today, because Miss Blyden and go there pick them up, then see picture na house, then see what's in this picture here, so they do now. So because of in political leaning. I don't think that is a way law enforcement for the treat citizens then, and now they go later on get for extend into the judiciary when are then for protect we as citizens then. Because the fundamental thing of government, in my opinion, is to protect the citizens of the republic. For give them security, let them get that sense of security, say, well, government they protect you, but if you they use your power for trample on the rights of your citizens then you're not a good government. This is my opinion. So until we reach that stage where this gentleman will get for going to court, let we see how that one they go play first in a court. But now the courts don't be put on notice. Say with the watch that will boss say something. When I go arrest her, but now they can't plant Panadol or paracetamol in aid. We're not to a controlled substance. Come on.
Yeah.
It don't make sense at all.
Mr. Domingo, many, many thanks for that. And this is the kind of objectivity we talk about, that there's a possibility that you could come from a school of thought, but the objectivity is just there. In other words, what is reality is quantifiable. It can be researched. It can be referenced. And this naim Mr. Domingo just do just now. Okay, let's keep an open mind. Fambulem, this is the Then and Now platform they come on today, Sunday, the 13th of June, 2021. The very special program, we're now episode 4 of this program called The Week in Review. What's in the Week in Review? The Week in Review, now issues then we make the headlines. We both electronic and print media, they make the headlines where we all they talk about. And one of such things is what we talk about, we constitute many other things. And we just hear from 2 of we guests earlier on. Okay? So let we just get this. Let me get this Fambulem. This is not the Week in Review. I just want to let Fambulem know this is not the Week in Review. They come from the empire of Then and Now. Okay? and today na Sunday, and I think say they get a call. Maybe there is somebody who wants to participate in the program, but I just want to let Fambule know say this not then in our program. They come to Una. We'll not be one take calls, but one of the caller them is somebody who is familiar with the then and now media platform. So I go ask me guest them kindly if they can. If they can't, of course, this is no double down, triple down, as American man and go say, Mr. Turay, power by force. No. But if una can accept this question, I don't know what the question is. I have to be honest. But this is not one of the people from then and now we can always call. Dear Mr. Domingo and Mr. Turay, let me hear what his brother once say.
Yeah, sure.
I really, yeah. Hello?
Yeah, hello?
First of all, you are a contributor to the Then and Now. You host a program on the Then and Now. I just want to let Fambule know that.
Yes, yes, indeed.
And you're also aware that there's an ongoing program. And the fact that you cannot resist but to call means that you get something critical where you want to talk about. Will I be right, sir?
Absolutely, sir. Yes, thank you.
Okay, so I just apologize to we two guests them, and if you can make them quick, identify yourself, and you want to say what you want for, say whether a question to the guest them or some intimation or JPEG or pinstripe to what you want for say. Synopsis is all yours.
Okay, then thank you very much, Mr. Prince Mikuma. And I want to say thank you plenty to you two guests then. What I want to just say quick no more because I don't follow the conversation. Very, very interesting, articulate and well-informed discussion with the Kumun. But I just want to clarify something to Mr. Domingo. The boy with the old Nabo, Mansai, has been tried, convicted, and has been sentenced to 8 months in prison already. You know, they don't do the trial already. They don't sentence and to 8 months imprisonment.
Okay. Okay, so I want you pause there because looking at the graphics on the video in front of me, now my second screen, I see Mr. Domingo the shaking head in consternation, something we definitely Naim best can explain. Mr. Domingo, sir.
Yes, thank you very much to the guest we're calling on the show, and thanks for that information. I mean, the fastest and the most speedy trial.
Yeah, I will explain that to you. Hold you breath, please. Yeah. So you mean saying that the fastest,
and most speedy trial this since me born Canada this warrior. So because from the time I begin for follow the case to the time where they don't go try the person, they don't find them guilty, they don't send them to 8 months in prison. I don't see any case where don't go fast so na any court system na this warrior. So I'm really surprised, and I think say that one in I don't know if I will call it great injustice, but where the time where the ball in defendants, the lawyer where they go for go defend, where the time where they get for research the case, they investigate and do all that thing and call witnesses. These are some of the things that we should be talking about, because if we get something like this, we go continue. We don't set this precedence now. You don't know whether it go up into the next time, where then go continue for perpetuate, then kind of, I would call it a vigilante justice, from because they don't put you up on you, the bull's eye is on your back. So therefore, we are going to go after you. They will go send you go down, you go serve prison time. I think, something has to be done about this. Again, I not go that far as knowing the depth of the case, but from what I agree, so if what you tell me not true, then I'm really disappointed.
Okay, Mr. Kola, waiting the man where you address the issue to, they say this is shocking. This is shocking to him. First of all, he expressed consternation on the fact that this is not the very first case in terms of the speediness of the trial and conviction. It comes as a shock and a surprise to himself. But he appreciates that information the way they provide to him. But even though he expressed, some hesitation, of course, rightfully so, that if it were the fact, then the way how they go about this thing, say they don't convict this guy, they don't try and they don't convict and put charges, this is a shock and surprise to them. So I guess one of the panelist members, they agree with you in the sense that if this is the case, that it is a shocking thing to them, and they appreciate the fact that you, the brain, come to light. And if it turn out to be the fact, then this is really shocking. This is not my understanding. Mr. Domingo, I hope I get them right, sir.
You get them perfectly.
Okay, so
right.
I get them right, Mr. Supermed. That's exactly what the guests they say.
And tell Supermed thank you for because this is an update.
Say this is absolutely right, because we said in church with the people, the lawyers, they will go in case we go defend them, party, because now a PC party member and a youth member, so a constituency member, so the SSSN is so speedy. So this is the way say no more. You know, you always know say case of delay, so that we get political connotation, somehow they go so speedily. And that case was so speedily, imprisonment. As I talk, so you don't be sentenced already.
Okay, many thanks for that, for highlighting that, and the guests them have taken note. The people of Sierra Leone, I mean, people can do their own things, but justice can be adjudicated in a different sense by the people in this sense. And we get two guests there. Mr. Domingo, we direct this issue to, absolutely agree with him, because he not get all of this case in front of his desk. And I make you say he express surprise. Should it be this case? Then of course it appear like a surprise to him because of the speed at looking at the case, combining the evidence, and then eventually they convict the man of something where it's taking a while. So many thanks, Mr. Superman. I think you've made your point. And even though you know they hear them, then they hear you clearly. I really appreciate that. But there's so much for cover in a short time. So I go ask you, please, can I move on? Yeah.
Yes, certainly. Thank you very much.
You're welcome, brother. Take care. Okay. So again, on this case, I think we've made it absolutely clear, Mr. Domingo and Mr. Turay. And una all know say we get, process system and procedures them where we get for observe, and we get issues them where we get for speak to. So I want to go to Parliament, the functions of Parliament. Normally, it can sound elementary when we want to talk about the functions of Parliament, because the people who they speak to, they do understand. But sometimes we think that they do understand, but no, they don't. And people like Una, we understand, need for make them clear, crystal clear, what are the functions of Parliament, because if we were to speak contextually what you want to do, then how Parliament play this role we want to talk about. So, Mr. Domingo, I'll go back to you again. Waiting na the role of a parliament na the Republic of Sierra Leone?
Well, for me, the simple answer I will get to that question is that the role of parliament in Sierra Leone now for make laws na the country. Then they go strictly according to what the constitution say. If they get any new law where they want for introduce, the speaker or a member of parliament get for introduce the bill. Then the parties that within a parliament and will therefore discuss that bill there, upon which I will therefore vote on them whether the thing for pass or not for pass. And there are certain things also, the parliament also get for hold the executive branch in feet to the fire, that is the office of the president. So which means that if there are certain things that are being done which are unconstitutional, then it is the duty of the parliament for make them bring their issues and they come to the floor and discuss them, and then again vote on them for make sure say yes, then they do things in the right way. But unfortunately, because of politics, things are not they happen that way there. Now, me na one person way, anytime where I go salon, I go to parliament. I can go if there is a legislative session. I can go sit them up in the gallery and listen to the session. See, just for there, I get an idea of how things and they work in parliament. So I kind of like get not a depth of knowledge, but just an idea of waiting. One of the things that I see where they happen at with parliament where I not agree with, but maybe this is just tradition. Okay, let nobody not hold me in a month. Now, where then they use voice vote for make them pass judgment or rule, what have you. All those in favor say aye, they all are like aye, all those against saying no or nay, whatever. So the person will sit down at the speaker in chair. Now, whose direction in one for go, now in they go. So elect the nays then na the Allah or na the bin boku. If that speaker they don't think say, okay, this vote here so for go yes, it will just say the ayes have it. Why make we not go get a system wherein we get individual votes? So for the records, if we get for go back and for go try for see for tie a particular parliamentarian to a particular issue, we go see how that person they don't vote over in time na parliament. So again, no system is perfect. We'll get a system where they don't use for many, many years. Even before I was born, we don't get that system there. But do you, as a reform or something, maybe now some of them things, so as Mr. Turay the talk, for me, we begin to form what I would describe as pressure groups, wherein like minds them, they come together, we form a critical mass, and begin for address some of the issues here. So not in a confrontational way, but in a way where governments have to begin for listen to it, because I hope that this session where we deep and so you get people them, we go to listen, then go learn from we not get all the answers to the problem. We not say because we did diaspora, we know past them, we didn't necessarily know. Waiting with the call for now that spirit of togetherness. Let's join hands. Let's, then within a ground, then get local intelligence. They know what's in the happening and what have you. So we can hang it together. So we can make the system better by coming together and let we work for the good of the country. Because whatever it is, Sierra Leone, we home. We all three with on this program here. So and most of the one day where they listen, now Sierra Leone them born. However, by the bad sote, that country is us. It belongs to us, and we get for continue for be patriots of the country, love the country first before any other thing else. I think Senator there I will stop for now.
Wow. Many thanks, Mr. Domingo. I'm falling in love with you, just like Donald Trump would say, on that basis they alone. Because what you are championing here tonight is one of one word where I can't, really get myself around, which is nationalism. The common denominator of all the arguments that we can get is that of Sierra Leone. And every time when you speak, they say you're speaking in behalf of the country. And you're not only saying that in words, but you're demonstrating that in the actions of your words as well, which I really do appreciate from you, because I think saying that we do. So let's move on to Brother Turay. Brother Turay, you don't hear me, Brother Domingo. This is not first time on the Den and Now platform, and I can assure you, say, this is not a first time at the engage one-to-one. Equally the same thing with you. This is my very first time we met briefly on social media, watch the works where they do and decide, say, come on, let's have a conversation on the Den and Now platform. Now you don't hear you waiting the border, they say, and you hear also the question. What are your views, Mr. Turay, on a nationalistic, or what do I use for, what I hate for use, and on a patriotic level? Where do you stand, sir?
I think Mr. Turay, a mic mute.
Yes, Mr. Turay. Mr. Turay, have you unmuted your mic?
Sure. I made a mistake, correct. Yeah, you're
right. That's all right. These things happen all the time. But what's important is, did you get what we were saying, what Mr. Domingo was saying?
I did.
Okay, so the floor is all yours. Let's hear from you, waiting you get for say to this. Because I'm quite impressed, I must let you know. I'm quite impressed because there are many accusations on many sides. As this program done today, I can even prophesize, I can become a prophet. Say, there are many people who get for appreciate Mr. Domingo. There are many people who get for say, but why you say so, wait till you say so, because it seems like a man who is well connected. But that's not important for now. What he said and the question, let's hear your side.
Well, thank you. Thank you. First of all, I think the good thing about waiting with the Dunaya now for the benefit of the country, as you rightly pointed out, we not can vilify the government of the day.
Absolutely.
Or as government. What you would do is honesty and truth. Because we thought process, we for no say people in the outside there, we think the same way and even more than we think. But then we tune for check what you they say now because of first of all, they trust you, they know say the audience really they support. Now people we really say the truth. Now, if I can make reference for time's sake, quick to waiting I've been said before. Thank you, Mr. Domingo, for make mention, say, like pressure groups. Well, I did not reach to the word pressure groups. And they be used the word interventions because the whole thing is it doesn't matter how long we talk, what we say, it will sound stories. If we not begin to think about what's in the intervention, because there is a problem. Okay, we know the judiciary has a problem, as we said earlier. But what's in the intervention? Now, let me just go to the parliamentary functions. We've been trying to the functions of parliament. Well, parliament, as we know, it's the legislative organ of we nation. They make laws. Mr. Domingo said it, rightly pointed out that, and they make the laws them, and then they share them with the public, and they expect every individual, including the president, they're above the law if we follow that. And we also know, say, there are specific positions then where individuals, where they serve the public, where they serve the nation, then say they can approve them, people in them positions them. For me, a fact say, they will try to serve the people independently, and also either the president or the government of the day, they will try for involve them in the process within the kind of exercise and functions. And so, for instance, I give an example. We get the human rights kind of body where they protect the people and human rights in the nation. It will be independent. So the commissioners, them, the parliament, they approve them and they give them the authority to let them they act. So that's just an example. So we also get the Anti-Corruption Commission, the commissioner is also approved by Parliament. So Parliament now the supreme organ, way be to say now they make laws and then shall say then laws then they can go to every part of the nation. Now no the enforcement go there now the judiciary. So Parliament they play a major role. And also we also look at government spending as well. Before when they make budgets and everything, Parliament therefore approve because Parliament represent the people. And the people and they send the representatives in the parliament. So then serve they check the government on the spending. So those are some of the functions then within the perform. Now, but if I can move away from that and continue, we don't see in the Parliament of Sierra Leone, there have been some major and disturbing kind of developments. I don't know if La Gode or La left so force on based on the functions they were just in a parliament they make. So I go on to listen to you, or if I continue.
Mr. Turay, just one quick one.
Yes, sir.
The use of the term pressure group, not to in that kind of militant or vigilante way, I use them, okay? Yeah. Because let me start begin for call things and by their name, all right? Because you say an intervention group, it's fine. It's just semantics here. You get one way it goes. But we get first begin for hold government's feet to the fire. We get for hold them accountable. And in a way where we're not a confront government per se, but at least we tell and say enough. Let we try for do things. And because politics is our public service, you're going to government for go serve the people. They're going to government because politics is a profession, So if then they do something, then we as citizens, because now we put them in power. If we go vote for them, they get right for be answerable Absolutely. To us. And so therefore, we forget that group of like-minded individuals, we get able to stand up to government and say, enough. We have to start to do things the way we could be beneficial to the country. That's all I was saying. So
well,
to your point,
let me clarify. Interventions, when you use pressure group, a pressure group, not to a militant group.
okay.
Let's be clear to that.
I just want for me that clarification there. Yeah.
And also
Okay.
interventions. Today we don't get technology. I mean, this is not on the intervention. This is an intervention kind of. So intervention there, when they talk about it, when they see how we're able to influence, you know, it's not a violent thing, how we're able to influence the government of the day for them to look into the decision where they make, for jail even then guys them. In order for do violence, in order for cost forcing for that, but we go able to stay with the right, we go able to say we talk to people them and reach people them, the embassy. So those are interventions. Nobody will use violence and succeed. It doesn't work like
that. Yeah, that's perfect. We're on the same page. Yeah, we're on the same page.
Okay, so we are on the same page on that. And this is the thing about the platform. Because we can get these differences in opinions, and then a minute detail, and then we not intend for chat into them, and therefore we then turn out for look like enemies. This is where the problem is. Fortunately for us, because of some kind of an intervention, we now understand, say, we two guests that they're on the same page. What can be more interesting and more important than this? But let's go quickly again before we move away from the judiciary. One last point. Mr. Mohamed Turay, the issue of Kamaremba Masare in terms of the judiciary, how will they come for understand them, or how some people they want follow we believe in the judiciary. This is quite telling. What's your take on the issue of Mr. Mohamed Kamaremba Masare when a major player, a stakeholder in terms of the political activity in our country, own a political party, champion a political party, and was, and to some extent still believed to be the head of the political party, don't understand what's going on?
Well, the man, there's nothing there, no release, no date for say, to the head of the political party will lead. Now, he still lead the party. And even very recently, the group of people being come out and go demonstrate, few men and women, then get it in there, been follow up with that. The man I still lead the party. And as far as like what thing I've been say, we hope the government will therefore consider the decisions for letting them pull them because pull the mandate, because it get few people them, or as a head of the political party, get people away where they listen to them, where they believe them, where they follow them, and then as reunions them.
But do you understand that political party has been taken away from him because he doesn't meet the bill, he doesn't fit the bill? Are you following?
Well, I think well, a lot of things that can come from everywhere. I mean, as far as it's not to my knowledge, I must say. But yeah, so I must sit down there.
Okay, understood and respected. So I'll take this to
I want for chime in. Yeah, I want for chime in there for just a minute.
Yeah, of course. Please feel free. That's the objective of the program.
Okay, good. Well, for what's in there happened to Mr. Kamaremba Masare is nothing new in our era. Like the Turay itself, they grew up under the Stevens regime. We don't see similar things when they happen. You get intimidation. We just kind of political, intimidation. Quiet Imango, lock in a tight place, learn and sense, and what have you. Until the final judgment come, where then go find them guilty or not, it's still out there, it's still open as far as me concerned. But what I think say this government they do, they just want for tension other political parties them, whether the other opposition parties them, as I would say, for say if on a shake with a whap, that kind of way they. So they not put Kamaremba Masare in a very tight place. Then do Anto Palo Conte, and we can go on and on. This thing is so the writing there on the wall, we they see it's a concerted strategy for try for quiet down the opposition, or just try for entrench them feet and say, look, none other person or no other political party, not they rise up against we for the do it thing we get for do, or for foster we own goals and we own programs there. It is very, very simple. So let we wait first. Me not say anything, or one thing I go talk about is that waiting they happen, so it may not happen in the past. We You and I, Mr. Turay, as we don't agree, we need that intervention group there. We go say, okay, enough.
Yeah.
That's what for the work to work.
Mr. Domingo, you make quite a lot of critical points there. Some of the questions that I wanted to ask has been addressed already just by your position, sir, with all due respect. And I sure say, Mr. Turay, the man on the other side. And when I say the other side, I'm in opposition to you, because we don't even know what we are. We just decide for take this course, go forward, and we did chat real issues. But you don't make them so easy. Like, for example, I'll give Fambule example, why I say we don't make them easy. We've been talking about parliamentary responsibility. When I know what Mr. Domingo do, Mr. Domingo make the parliamentary responsibility sound so easy, even though it's not easy, sound so easy, and how people are not abuse that opportunity there, that even the other guest, Mr. Turay, appreciated and accepted that in terms of the responsibility of parliament. In other words, parliament has become a victim. This is my understanding, and we can go on and on. But I want to move on to something as we move on quickly to time. The non-partisan local council elections. Mr. Domingo.
Yes. Well, again, this just tie into a previous segment where I bring up the point about political intimidation, or just trying to entrench so that, you know, you gain political waiting. The fact of the matter is, you argument there on both sides. Say, if you make the local council election non-partisan, this is what you go achieve. You know, you'll get better representation, you get this, you get that argument. You get other people in back where they look at from the standpoint, say, no, how you go able for explain, say, for example, if it is non-partisan, then 100 people and go say, we want to go run for office. You know, say, for example, within Western area, you know, you run under non-party, they go as an independent. Okay. Either they get that jurisdiction, or the last say for say, okay, now you go get for go on, now you go get this symbol, now you go this, now you go that. And it's not possible, they go put 100 people in a ballot, say, they all get for go vote. So eventually what thing will happen, somebody somewhere within a government, now go come to that decision, the now we will talk, say, okay, now you now they choose say, now you they go for go on for represent that area day. What if that person they would then go choose happen for be a supporter of the sitting government? And mind you, wait till it's time for talk now, is that the All People's Congress, we don't try for do this exact same thing where the current government is trying for do so. The current government they kick back against APC back then and say, no, it is not going to happen. Then why bring it up again? You see, so there are advantages to it. There might be, I don't know, I don't see it yet. So people are gonna make the argument because like for we where they like this part of the world, so yeah, we will say, okay, the person where they run for mayor, not they go run under any party or then kind of thing. We can do that, but there are these are advanced democracies, and some of the things that will go happen or we go happen or we country will probably not happen. So it is mixed feeling, it's a mixed bag. I know I gave a long-winded answer, but in a person way, I know they talk authoritatively on something where I not get the full facts on. So I go just left and day for now, but the way it seems on the surface, it not look like a for say, now something will go be beneficial to Sierra Leone in general, because if 100 people then decide, say, then they want for run for office, whose criteria on it? Then with only some of the criteria, you get for go school, you get for pass this exam, you get for this, you get for get degree, all that kind of thing. What if you get 100 people that will fit all the criteria, then how now they fit them into that ballot? That is what I would like the government to give us answers to. Mr. Turay, if you want for chime in, because I think Mr. Kroma will step up.
Thank you. Yeah, Mr. Kroma, thank you, Mr. Domingo. But I just want to bring you back to the parliament, because the issue of the parliament, I think we didn't say much about the challenges and the issues that we Parliament of Sierra Leone face. If you can allow me, for us.
Yeah, what you have been to say, Mr. Turay. Now just for backup, what you say. I mean, I'm so impressed by what Mr. Domingo they say. But the idea of the program is if you've got dissenting views or even views where you can align with waiting at the prevailing view, then of course you get a right for voting. But in this case, it's not like say you get something where you want for say. Why not? It's all yours, sir.
So I just want to say that the Parliament of Sierra Leone, in relation to, it don't face multidimensional challenges and issues that way very tormenting to the general public. Now, we all know, first of all, the opposition, they face political violence and restrictions them. We BC, the Parliament of Sierra Leone, not able to address, and then they in support of it with whatever the government says. You know, we also believe, say, corruption is pervasive, you know, and it's in plain sight as far as Parliament of Sierra Leone is concerned. Honorable Tawa, now example, he's a SLPP guy. They bring him up and they don't call several witnesses, and a lot of SLPP parliamentarians, they were very honest enough, then target them. So we say that. The other thing we're also troubling about the Parliament of Sierra Leone is the issue of, you know, election and the removal of the APC members in the Parliament, 11 of them. That then go against not only justice, but the human rights of these people. And they were sent by tens of thousands of voters then. Then do them until today, then get them out of job. So that's, it's troubling. And another thing what we find out also, they install a speaker. We're not supposed to be a speaker. I mean, if we can draw examples, in the United States of America, during Donald Trump in time, the Democrats were having a speaker, you know, but they were not in government. They were having the speaker. So for say, well, SLB and in not government and if be the speaker, that's wrong. They just violate the rights, the human rights of people then. And we also saw also spending, you know, it is over the roof. It's quite rocketed beyond proportions. And when they call the Minister of Finance, we don't see the Minister of Finance. It go, the wage bill is more than APC time, which now one of the things that they campaign for. And at the same time, Parliament not able to do anything about it. And in addition to that, we saw Parliament, and we had it, Honorable Tawa confirm. So all the things that we do, so I think nothing that we're troubling. If we, Sierra Leoneans, them, we honest enough, one for this country before, you know, democracy for play at all levels. But Parliament of Sierra Leone, so they perform the functions the way they write in a book for them. You know, just because the government of the day get the power to do anything. So now that's what I'll add. Thank you.
Okay. Many thanks for that addendum. And briefly, probably 30 seconds, I don't think say Brother Domingo get anything for say on these, because he's made his point quite clearly to the audience, then when they watch now and subsequently get for watch. But just in case you be one after that, because the brother quite made a statement there, a little bit differ to what you been say. It sound like, and in fact, I'm not going to do that assessment day, but let's find you. Is there something you want to speak to that quickly, or we can move on to the next agenda?
Let's move on to the next agenda because I feel say we get other things that we'll get to discuss. Yeah,
very smart, very, very smart man. So I want to move to the First Lady of the Republic of Sierra Leone.
But I have to say one or two things about.
Yeah, sure, brother. Make it quick.
That last subject about the local election stuff. Okay.
Yep.
Now, one thing where in the political domain where they say quite recently, and people are point that is that when democracy, you know, you allow people to participate and do stuff them, but in recent times, democracy don't become a threat to our freedoms and liberties. Democracy don't become a threat to our own freedoms and liberty, because with a tiny kind of majority we person get 1%, and it become a government, it able to make decisions the way they contravene the general interest. And so we kind of, not because we want to come say bad things about the government, but at the same time, we get for say honest things. We go able to free we country because we are stakeholders of Sierra Leone. Now, what I want to say is, in any by all angles of democracy, it go against anybody we really believe in democracy for say, we now go just go choose people and send them not to on party business. I mean, even in the child family, the big brother can get an idea way different from the small brother. That's our position that one day. So, and then if the government of the day was sent to the place reside in the operation today, now through elections, people exercise their right, they exercise their right, they send them. Why? Then they say at the local level, the recent thing what they say, and even where all political parties they come together, they say, no, what you are the one practice so wrong. I think say, therefore listen, a wrong, therefore let elections then go, like they go. Now, Mr. Domingo made mention, say, the past government don't begin for Duam. Now, me want say, if we want to move on to Sierra Leone, and I know the Conde it just make reference to them. But the bad thing where that person do yesterday, if me they can do bad now and I justify them for say yesterday said in Guam, when I saw with the city's government they do, and with the city people and they argue, and I know they really they blame. I'm just saying the past will make we whether welcome or people and get difference there now. Let we move from there and go forward. So the
okay,
the wrong. It's completely violate the democratic principles. We can argue that one day, then Kera when it's against the democratic principles. Let they allow the people to vote, let they choose a representative. They are wrong.
Okay. Okay. Many thanks for that. And we appreciate that. We just want to let Fambule know that this program tonight is a program where we call the Week in Review, in which we assess, we analyze, we look at it from a perspective position into what it make the news, why it make the news. In other words, news headlines. Mm-hmm. It's exactly what we will do here tonight. And we've gone deep into a program. The next segment will be on that of the First Lady. There is a video or there's an attitude. I won't call it an attitude. Forget about video. Video, not just one piece of a story. But there's an attitude where they trend on social media in which we current First Lady is being lampooned one way or the other, depending on who you listen to, as to what they do. But these days, so much prevalent in our social media. So we decide for Biankanawe program. So again, Fambule, what I want for let we understand is even the then and now platform is evolving, is transitioning, is transforming. So the numbers, like before at this time, maybe we'll get 50 people, 100 people, 200 people, which we don't have at this time. But we know, say, eventually these numbers will change because you get to take that leap of faith. And we move on from a personal profile to a page. And now that page, they will broadcast from. And gradually, that page there has to be built up to the position Usai we think say we are supposed to be. So here is the thing again, Fambulem, where they talk about a video with a trend of the First Lady. And the question is, should the First Lady be doing what she's doing? Is it appropriate that what the First Lady they do is right? Is it wrong? Or waiting at the implications? There are many things to the video. But before that, I want to play the video. There are two parts to the video. A, we will play one part. We will listen to the audience. We will listen to a panelist. And then we will play the second part as well. Let me see whether we get the first part. Let me try for see whether we're able to play the first part of the First Lady. Okay, Famulem, that's one video of the First Lady of the Republic of Sierra Leone, Madam Fatima Jabi Bio, a video where he play. And of course, we get with panelists then tonight, we will try to analyze the video. In other words, contextually, we get for look at why is the video, who side them play and why they play, what it imply altogether. this is not the idea of the video we just played. There are two parts to it. So this is not one. It appears like say, well, of course, the First Lady is having a great time. First Lady, Madam Fatima Bio, is having a great time. I don't know who the taller person is on the video with the black tracksuit, whatever the person wear, which is a young person. But then the little girl does appear to me for be that of the daughter of the First Lady. But again, this not to be take. We get a panelist here. We go try for determine this video where we see. Imagine before you talk, all the way to you want for talk, there are two parts. This is not just one. Again, Brother Turay, did you watch the video, Salah? Just get confirmation.
Yes, I did.
Okay. So what you take about the video as per the First Lady of the Republic of Sierra Leone? Your opinion,
yeah,
sir?
first of all, the agreement what I will get with so many people is that I take family matters very seriously. And by all respect, even if I get an opinion about Fatima Bio, I remember, well, I'll give an example where that Pekin, I don't know if Naida one day, way small, some people let me, they post something to say the Pekin get problem. I become very offended. I have a daughter. She's the love of my life. And I want for her to succeed. First of all, if anybody, they get anything negative, one person will not get negative about this video, let the woman dance and get time with the family. I have no problem about it. And I know as a First Lady, some people they get away when they comport themselves. We not see the Nigerian First Lady or other people and they dance around. But if Fatima Bio choose for dance around, let her dance around. In addition,
okay, Bolatue. Now, just for the benefit of time, your general oversight of this video is let the First Lady have a good time as she can. I don't have and etc.
Yeah. And I know a person say bad things about because he dance.
No, we will come to that. But generally, you don't have that extreme issues where people get with just because the First Lady dance with his family. You don't have issues with that.
No, I don't. I don't have issues.
Mr. Domingo, please.
Yeah, I share the same view with Mr. Turay. I don't get issue with that.
So let me play the second part. Many thanks for that, and I like the way I'm loving. I'm loving this, brother. Let me go quickly to the second part of the video. There is a second part to it. Let me make sure say we capture this second part. Let us just make sure say we capture the second part of the video. And obviously what you play was the first part. Let's see whether we're able to get the second part. Fambul and you want to bear with me small. These conversations, they are very important. Okay. And this is not the First Lady of the Republic of Sierra Leone. Let me see whether we get this right. So let's watch the second part. Wow. I'll bring this directly to you, sir. I've watched this video several times. And of course, I gave you your opinion on the video. But here is the thing, yeah? I love this First Lady. We've never had anything like in kind before. But the energy way they try for harness in terms of social media, and the reason why I play the second part of the video, it sound like probably like hint and challenging and provoking to another side. But other than that, I love the woman. She's provoking something. She's got the parts. She's beautiful. She can make the message. Why this, Mr. Domingo? Why this?
Well, first of all, make I tell you, me and one person where they follow the First Lady on Facebook. Anytime we go live, I get prompts on my device, and I listen to her. Growing up, when we were much younger, when we get toy for Christmas, they jump on them. Say, for example, you like fire lorry or something. We didn't buy that fire lorry. That first week, every day now you want for play with. You come on school, you have for play with the fire log. So take one either inside your bag, say for car go school because you love that fire truck. You now your favorite toy. Or somebody will like Spider-Man or any of them thing. The first lady was introduced to TikTok, right? And it gets fun as far as I'm concerned. You know, say anything will go offend you or me or anybody in the country. It just get fun and it enjoy them. So again, honestly speaking, this not move me in any way, shape, or form. Me, which time they pay attention to now in glamour, in close way where it's so beautiful, the chandelier we be in the BN, and then nice dining chairs there. And I say, oh, wow, you know, and they live in, you know, they live well.
So make I push you on that little bit, Mr. Domingo. Well said. So what you looked at now the chandelier and the first lady in background, probably the cushion chairs, the leather, the upholstery of the furniture within at the background of the first lady, which means that you yourself have even got taste. But looking at the country as a whole, as to where we are, looking at the song, and the reason why I played the second part of the video, there's a specific reason I played the second part of the video, because the first part of the video, well, of course, the first lady, any family, like I say, I don't understand whether the taller person, whether I'm picking, but I know say again one small girl picking where at some point I like that picking so much where they shake that in here. So, but the first lady get responsibility, 7 million people. This is not private. This is national, if not international. So coming back to that video, the way he play, especially the second part, the chandelier, the upholstery now in background, is it quite necessary, contextually speaking, as we look at the time?
Okay. You know, I not go blame him for that. Because you see, like Usai with this, so you get their first lady them or somebody very close to the prime minister, or maybe then go probably they were things that are more expensive, they live a more glamorous life and stuff. For me, I'm not going to that kind of rabbit hole wherein we go debate and the waiting at the purpose or 7 million people in the suffer. To be honest with you, waiting, I think, say fundamentally the missing is the fact that something like TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, where we for the effectively use for propagate we message in the sense that use them for educate the public in general, use them for make we go able for change or help for change the mindsets of our people. We know they use them in that effective way. I think Senator the first lady missed the boat.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. And I'll pause you there. And you therefore forgive me because I want to switch on to the other guest. But now my points down the way they come up to, and normally I can try for development point, but waiting you do, you beat me to that point there. Because yes, Mr. Domingo, this is exactly what I've been able to. Firstly, he can enjoy himself, he can use social media platform for carry a message forward. But in this case, how has she carried that message forward using one of the most anticipated, most used, most listened to, most watched platform in the universe, which is TikTok? And then it brings me back to that because I'm not going to excuse you from this before I go on to Mr. Turay, I believe. The first lady been get a chance, here for speak to in people differently, but the song will be the play and the way I perform, it sound almost culturally like we, hypocritical and kind of a message for depict, you will want to take we man, you will want to take me man, blah, 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 blah. Mr. Domingo, finally, sir.
Well, this why I say you are gonna put me in a wolf mode.
Okay, now we do up. I will do up, Mr. Domingo.
No.
I'm sorry, sir.
Not done. Okay.
Oh, okay.
I know they done. The fact of the matter is, the woman gets a good time, right? If now into the pool or what have you, as I say, me not pay attention to all the nitty-gritty then you see like me and you too, so we go sit down here, we look an advertisement about Nike or Coke. You go interpret something they nana at the web something me no go see. where two people and they look at things then at television, where they see things in differently. You they look at an ad, the same ad then what today they waiting. But if they can, they ask people with analysis of that ad day, we go probably be given different messages or different outcomes. So for me, because I don't know, say now Oma will like for enjoy himself, where they do then kind of entertainment and they now waiting they happen around and I they pay attention to rather than just focus on and say, why make it do this, why make it do that? Because I can still go back and say the same social media, now it use like where it travel for go live on Facebook and show, say, okay, I they go distribute sanitary pads and I they go do that one. So it use them to an advantage where one for user and where one forget fun user, it's up to them. We're not ever saying kindness and probably will not go ever saying kind, but it is what it is. Elections have consequences and the people get the government they deserve. That's all I can say.
Okay, well said, Mr. Turay.
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir. Well, thank you. As I've been saying earlier, I think you get rights for use social media for various purposes, as you said, but well, first of all, TikTok now a platform we come not to for can spread messages of how administration would make, now a fun area, but that being said, the woman I will assure you she's gonna be Fatima Bio till the end of humanity. About anybody interested. The other thing I want to add to that is that like Mr. Domingo just said, election have consequences. The people then choose for votes for Mother Bio and Fatima, and then get a government within deserve. But more importantly, like how you say, in a country who say people and they go through all the challenges there. If I don't forget, you get nearly 5 million people who get food insufficiency in the country. You get people and we really get other challenges then. I believe say as in not so elected official. So therefore, in they seize the opportunity for do whatever he wants. But at the same time, her husband I be the president. So if I consider that one day, but I can tell you she's gonna be Fatima till the end. You know, who care about anybody.
Okay.
So everybody say. But as far as me concerned, I want let we focus and Sierra Leoneans them for how we go able to help the country. For let go before people at local level, where government know they even they see, because there are forgotten millions of people where each and every one of us in our different way they support. And then people and they now they go down land their senses say whether they make mistakes at the end and go pay. But Fatima no care. And she's gonna be me, even if dance there, I go enjoy and no care about dance.
But you know the thing, and so you, Mr. Koma,
Yes,
I feel your pain because you look at Sierra Leone through the lens of Usa Udesona England. You don't say under, you don't see there are well-established institutions there. Now so government for work, now so government they work, and you get strong institutions. One thing what Obama say not so strong men they make a good country. Now strong institutions and they make a good country. Now, would I be blaming all of this? Now the PR team, the public relations team, where they around him, maybe the president or other people, where now for the guide them and talk say, Madam First Lady, you know what? Maybe this not something we can go out with. We can do them locally. We can enjoy ourselves, but at least.
So can I pause you there? We will move on to the other segment very soon. But I get what you did try for say, and in many respects, you capture this. It's based on Usawide and the anticipation for we country say, oh God, if only, and then you get a ... Okay, but going back to what you say about the First Lady, Mr. Domingo, with all due respect, sir, because Natiwa don't follow for quite a while. The psychology of the First Lady, and we have to understand this in terms of psychology, the psychiatry of the First Lady. This is what a preposition for be. This is what she is. She tends to be media savvy, and even when you media savvy, in the long run, you get for anticipate or use the media to you the way how you want to use the media for position you in a positive limelight. The First Lady has been in this case for many a times long before she became a First Lady. What I think has not happened is this transition or this evolving from that situation or position where it been there in to that of this wonderful fantasy situation, where fantasy I use that in the sense is the way it's being demonstrated now, because in the end it's reality. She is the First Lady of Sierra Leone. How do we project that image? They say once upon a time, a movie star, a person will be understand for use the dynamics of social media in a different respect, is now the First Lady of a country. Mr. Domingo, honestly, this is where I believe the problem is. And I'm not going to blame the people that were there around them very much, because there are two aspects to it, I think. A, these people that were there around them, they either get for protect their job and decide whether they want to make that huge sacrifice. Say, well, we are not going to accept this. Madam First Lady, this is what it is. Or because the Madam First Lady herself understand how to manipulate, maneuver social media, and other people and get for follow. So and not get our PR team. And I've advocated this before. I could be very well wrong, and I stand to be corrected as to this point where I speak. But let me move on again quickly, because we run out of time. I really appreciate me two guests there, because this is a learning process for me tonight, and I'm learning so much, okay? I want to go quickly to the mayor of Freetown, her worship, Yvonne Aki Sawyer. Yvonne Aki Sawyer, obviously, she's that contentious mayor in the sense that she belongs to an opposition, and that opposition, they, of course, is not supportive of some of the things that we the mayor want to do, as we do understand them. Could be wrong again, stand to be corrected. There are many things that has happened over the period of time between elections then as to where we are now. But I want to watch one short clip. There have been many clips of the mayor of Freetown. In other words, it gets a program where they call it transition of Freetown, transformation to be specific. I want to watch that video there quickly. Mr. Domingo, Mr. Turay, this is the video.
Yeah. Transform Freetown, our city. Okay, let's go. Undeveloped city, then clean. All clean city, develop. If it's a way, don't in at it go add so make we city develop.
Freetown City Council, they work for you. Pay your business license now or before June 30 this year. And your property rate now or before September 30 this year. For make you not pay late fine. Make we work hand in hand for make Freetown better for we all. Join we on this journey for transform Freetown. Make sure say you go straight na City Council building 17 Wallace Johnson Street, Freetown for pay your city rate and business license. Or you can go na the approved bank partner them. If you get any question, one book appointment, or no receive you demand notice yet, call their number here. Then go answer all your query. 078-333-0.
Okay, Harold, we can go to the number lately, but I believe say we all capture the video we hear what they say. Me personally send a message to the mayor, commend them. Although I observe some points where I sent to them as well, where they need for do another video there. What's your take, sir?
First of all, I get to applaud the mayor for such a very good initiative for Transform Freetown, because when a Freetown, some of we born they will grow and it will be replaced till we die.
Yes.
Yeah. So the fact of the matter is she's doing a fantastic job as far as I'm concerned. Getting the support is something else. But the fundamental problem I think that we have as a country is the fact that culturally, we're not used to some of them things here. So, and education is key. Education in the sense that are you they transmit or transfer the message to somebody we did like really don't day. Because where we don't use for eat orange peel, culturally, with the work and at it, we go buy orange with soccer. As we soccer, so like we eat it got the next thing we throw inside gutter. We go to Qatar, we buy diamond, we peel them, we throw the thing out. So that's something we don't use. One of the thing that we human do, part of the initiative. Now for put them small, bin them now the street corner. So if you smoke cigarette or you get down plastic which is suck water, now for go even inside that small bin there. But because the education not there and the use not being there, when people then see that small candy, what's in them they do? Then they go take it in dirty box from us, then bring them for can empty handy because they're not that sense there yet. You don't understand what it's okay. So
yeah, thank you, Harold. I wish you can engage the mayor. I mean, help for propagating message. You're absolutely right.
Yeah, so one thing we're gonna need first now education, and it will take time. The fundamental problem in our country, and I'm going to say this unequivocally, I know they bite me tongue, I know they do anything, say anything politically correct. The fundamental problem in Sierra Leone right now, the mindset of the people. And if the mindset of the people not change, nothing else matters. Mickey say, he let God come out up, he can't don't say they go rule Salon. If Salon mind their mindset not change, say this now we country, we get for work for develop a country, it no matter who that did it. You see, so we get for take that time day for help the people and for move out of that hole outside the non-fairness and it not happen overnight. So it don't happen from where we did independence. We just say it is like kicking the can down the road. Everything okay, we'll do that day, we'll do that day. Now we don't reach crunch time where it's like say we don't be at a point of no return. So what we need to do, like what they are doing, making them videos here so and stuff. Now for continue for do that. Let them also get megaphones them, then small megaphone them, let them go on top them, talk them. Then they go around the city, they go on a keep the city clean campaign, just say talk and talk. And if you find perpetrators them guilty of whether they dirty the street, arrest them, lock them up. No, if they not get money for pay final, just lock them and sell no more. Then go nonsense. If you see them begin lock people in that cell, people are not going to go in that street again. Because if you go find them, they're not honestly, what's your unemployment rate in our country? But could people not get that money there? But just lock them up, let them be give for license.
Right.
Now that's how I'll stop there for now.
Okay, right. And I take this to Brother Turay. I mean, from what Brother Harold say, it sounds very much patriotic. It sounds like say he is to the extreme, but he make it clear that for let me achieve what you want, but people are not able for pay them find and they, but for let them realize that, just lock them up. And sometimes democracy imply to the extreme. Let nobody not play on this. What's your take, sir, Mr. Turay?
Well, I think thank you so much, Mr. Kroma and Mr. Domingo. I think locking up is the last resort. I must also say here, presently they conduct research at graduate level based on the barriers to policy implementation at Sierra Leone. And the policy issue where they study and they look at is environmental policy in Sierra Leone. One of my questions that I researched, they ask how they go engage people for implement environmental policy in Sierra Leone. The second question say, which are the benefits, in fact, for engage them? I believe, say, like, for instance, if you want for, in that video, very short, and more of which we see now the display of waste across the city, when an issue, they lead to a lot of problems like health and hygiene issues. But I wish we for know more of beside the Creole where the adult they make in Creole. I believe say what they make policy not they succeed or then laws their bylaws on the work is because of the way how they engage the people. There are different strategies and the people like in me study the respondents them and don't provide me a lot, but not what I get for publish anyway. So I believe say the lock the people not the last resort. And we get for first of all try for no. Because to me, the video not give me sufficient information, will tell me about why they for even lock people in the first place. There is more that's needed. But what I want to say here is the efforts of the woman are great, and I don't post a lot of stuff in support of this male. And I always support him because his attitude towards the city, he likes the people of the city. She likes the people of Sierra Leone. And from the time we come to this day, there's been major transformation in the lives of the people in Freetown. And I believe, say, women in governance like them, and forget more people that like them, because Sierra Leone will go before. In relation to how this will be effective, now I think, say, we'll therefore engage the people in different ways, and then they will therefore bring them. And some of we can do their studies at graduate level. And so we'll therefore contribute one day. Thank you.
Yes, Mr. Yes, sorry, the moderator. Just bring in one point. Mr. Turay, I totally agree.
In the future, Mr. Domingo, I want you to feel very free, sir, because the idea, the objective of this conversation between us is interjections on this level, on this scale, on the basis of which you intervene. Please always feel free, sir, for do that. Today is the first time, but this is the same going forward. Many thanks for you being so decent.
I appreciate that, sir. Mr. Turay, I agree with your points. At least you come to the fact, say, some penalty for day somewhere. But also, let we begin for understand, say, some of the things that we don't perpetuate in our society is that we're thinking too much on the theoretical side, forgetting about our culture and how the people and they think, how then they act, okay? Yeah. Now, if we go back, late Jerry Rawlings, may his soul rest in peace. When Ghana being the upside down in the 80s, I believe, Ghanaians will leave in Ghana to come to Sierra Leone for biting like a sardine and soap and go back. Ghana being there at a worse stage than Sierra Leone was. When Jerry Rawlings been take power, what he did with the Ghanaian people, he said again for be self-sufficient, let them begin for plant their own staple food. What he was doing at the time that most people found very offensive was using corporal punishment for make the people then go for the local farming. Yeah, it looks bad at the time, but then it make Ghana be able for get a leg up and go to the next level. The same thing with the Ghana Rwanda. If we look at Kagame at this time, from where he don't take power and all the other things when they say they stifle freedom, they this, they that. Would you rather have a Rwanda in Sierra Leone, or would you like to have Sierra Leone day the way it did so? So sometimes we have to watch what we do and how we operate to people. Why they talk about giving them jail time, it's not like then they go abuse them at jail. But if you go find a way, okay, my question to you, I'll not be long-winded here. What should you do if somebody perpetually, they flaunt the law and dirty the streets them? You see, when you didn't have Virginia, so you arrive at a stop sign, you roll over that stop sign there. What think they do?
Well, let me answer your question. What I try to say here is, as far as the citizens of Sierra Leone are concerned, cleaning the city, not just one, but now that will be talked about. If we look holistically, we find out that the level of engagement of those in power with the people and where to say now the direct beneficiaries of laws is very minimal, or sometimes people don't even get the message. So what I try to say is, the video will watch very small, limited, now create and talk. But let's see, do we have other languages the way they also be used for spread this message? Then one question I ask, which this video not say. The second thing what I want to say is that we get to go more. What's the level of involvement of councillors them? We have to say they live with people in communities. They voted for them beside the mayor, the councillors of the city, different parts of the city. We be say that one day they are with the people, they respect the people who they vote for. So we get to go down in there. And then all other things are for day. They not go believe say a lot of people in the violate law because they not even know what them for doing in the first place. No. So what we do is, as we then at this particular discussion, what we do is something, and they like I don't get a lot of ideas about the detail of that today, waiting I know the mayor is doing a fantastic job and we are so happy. She's my lady. I don't put, oh, if you go on my page, I see. But waiting at the time for say is, I don't know if they do them back in other languages so that people that want to talk Creole of different tribes, they will know more and engage more people at the lower level, councillors, ward leaders, you know. So no. So I go on for investigate, you know.
No, yes, you gave a very academic answer, which I applaud you for. And honestly, no, yes, a very academic answer. The fact of the matter is, about 95% of the population are Freetown. We talk about Freetown. When we talk about the provinces, we're talking about Freetown. Well, 95% of the people in Freetown, then they understand Creole. Yeah, every corner we go in our country, the people in Creole now they talk. Now, the fact is, the reason why people they break the law in any country now because there are no consequences. My question that I posed to you was driving, on King Street, now Alexandria, when you reach a stop sign, if you roll over that stop sign there, you not brake, come to a complete halt, and Kopade before your Kopade Sunset Way High, you see you roll over that stop sign there, they pull you over, you ask you for a driver's license and registration, and you don't break the law, it a guilt ticket, and if it didn't Virginia law, then we'll give you points on your license. So most likely, you not go roll over a stop sign, you not go run through a red light because say you get penalty of the law go bet you. Now, it's taken into consideration everything that I've just said, and that the unemployment rate is so high in our country. If people then continue for the flaunt the law, there has to be some consequences. I'm not talking about brutalizing them. Let them go with equality. Sometimes we have to be responsible as citizens then. Me, why they drive? If I eating something with a car, I get one plastic, I get like a plastic bag there. Why I don't eat it? I put it inside there. What can I can't go where? I know the driver takes it, I throw and I take it all out of the window. Because if policeman see me and go find me $250, $500.
Mr. Domingo. You absolutely they ask for your forgiveness because there are a few other things I want for we conclude on, and we not really get the time, and we get about 3-4 major issues therefore let we conclude on. But I believe say brother to get your point, and brother to not feel say you go unanswered to waiting brother Domingo they ask, because this is quite critical.
Well, let's say quick, yeah. That I support 100% penalties for day when people persistently violate law. Yes, now the only way that they will get compliance, so that the penalties for day, so that one I did in agreement with them. I just really say before we go to the penalty, I want for no more waiting and don't do for try for get this message down there so that littering and other just doing the trash or the rubbish around for let them minimize them, because the lady is really ready for make the city a better place, But I support. I mean, the penalty for they go towards compliance, because with the penalty, people will do the right thing.
Okay, we quickly run out of time, and here is the thing, and I want to ask this very, very quickly, sirs, if you will permit me. What we see quite recently is the national team, the Leon Stars. They travel for go meet up or honor an obligation, a football match obligation. Now the Republic of Guinea, I believe, between the Republic of Benin. We play at them stranded na the border. Just before they come to studio tonight, one of the arguments I understand is like, no, they were not stranded. I don't know what you want to hear, but if una hear what you hear, but they are una weigh in on this conversation, but please. Yeah, and this na the background, na the Guinean border, also we believe say we people were stranded. Brother Turay, what do you hear from your side where you did thousands of miles away from home?
Well, I'll just the groups the women in there, social media, now they have been get some thing in the camp. Yeah, they were stranded. Down there, they were stranded. but eventually the issue was resolved. That guy, Kamara, we sent some message now, even on Facebook. They were stranded because if you see them even they somewhere, they were stranded. But I want to say here, what I want to say is, you know, we for begin before you go, I just one second, sir. We get for no say. There are certain things like sports, that's where they bring money in a country. If you first, it even reduce idleness, it make the youth population where they engage in sports and become very useful in our society. And I think it's high time for any government. I'm not picking on this government. I'm saying generally, for let them respect the role and responsibilities and where they're supposed to play as a government, any government, you know, because if we not get a national team, they go play another country. You know, they can't go inside 1 week or inside 1 day. This is a plan that should have been in place for months. I believe say no matter the situation, whether not corona or whatever, therefore don't give a special preference, you know, for let them go even early and allow them for let them go. Like what happens will not happen. But whatever the situation, we thank God, I think it was resolved and then they're able to continue. But okay. They were stranded.
Okay, let's just take this quickly to your other guest, Brother Domingo. So normally, when you can bring up issues of this, sometimes you try for avoid the politicalness. It's a kind of new introductory of language semantics, if you like, politicalness of the situation. So there is no intention for introduce such. Waiting I see as a member, a responsible member of the public media society, I got sent a number of photographs of we athletes, we footballers them, stranded, apparently, again, last cities, apparently stranded at the boundary between who side them for moving, who side them come out and who side them for moving. That immediately concerned me. But then when I begin for call me sources, it's like, can you confirm what thing that happened? Some people begin for look at like, say, are they politicize them? And I had no reasons for politicize them, other than for understand where do these young people start? And even before they come to UNA, I got accused. It's like you being told to go say what you want for say. No. All I saw was the green, white, and blue, the Sierra Leonean team, get stuck up na the Guinean border. And somebody tell me, say, no, they're not stuck up. But before I go on and on and on, waiting are you understanding, because even yourself get your view, you get your contacts, which you don't agree, which you don't see so far, sir. So
for full disclosure, now yesterday I see you know, and I followed the story again through social media, and my own conclusion was canto now just a gross show of incompetence, because this particular saga, not to say that the first thing this happened, when Benin Mingo Salon for go play, we get this corona thing where we make you know, the FIFA let me get for postpone the match and say what have you. So what to me they say is Salon Football Association, they no say these dates get for arrive, then get for go now you need to run for go play this game here. So the first thing that they should have done was to have made sure that then people also don't be tested, you know, and get a test results on time for make them able for travel. Absolutely. So that's you know, yes. Like now the worst for me, in my opinion, this is the worst PR disaster we don't meet this government since they come into power. Because if you see this, young country, then they go play, then they go represent the flag of the country. You see them lay down at ground, the way them lay down. You see them got stranded at the Retika. They get another picture or video of the Benin team where they inside plane. They spent less money in transporting their players in comfort for care and go into Guinea for go play. Then una go una the talk say, well, now the players they say they want for go by road. The players already dictate so now. From sources, the sources they tell we say then they spend about $650,000 or $700,000 for which you car. Why do you spend all that money and put the people there on the road for travel, make them go through all that kind of strain day, when they reach on at the border and go strain that kind of way? Enough fair on the players there, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah. Brother Domingo, many thanks. Many thanks. I think we all play football to some certain level. Some people play on the exotic level. Some of us stop halfway or beneath. But we all play football and we understand the stress. Never, there are two things to this. Never do you want your national team for be under stress way than they expect for go play and they under them kind of pressure there, because another side can even subject them to this because it's psychological. That's how you win a game. One, psychologically, and then the next thing in the physical aspect of the game, because you don't defeat them psychologically. We play the game on our level. We're not reach that exotic level as to other people. But I really do appreciate you. The reason why I say this, because coming on studio, it's like some people think that we just want to play politics with this. No, we see the pictures of we team. How demoralizing can this be, Mr. Domingo, Mr. Turay? How much demoralizing can this be? We don't want to let this side happen anymore. But anyway, the Sierra Leonean people, everything we will say, then go adjudicate on them. And as we speak now, this issue is being adjudicated upon. Just before I come to studio, I engaged one ex-Leon Stars player. He said, Prince, all you're trying to do is to politicize this thing. And God in heaven knows that I am not trying to politicize this. I'm only trying to reflect the reality, which is, I'm not there, I don't know. Pictures were sent to me, and I try to analyze them pictures and that I see people that we belong to a national team get caught up on a bus on the way to a second country, a first country to a second country for go play a third country. And yet they get caught up on the border at a point where some of them lay down, because they're exhausted. This is demoralizing. It's unacceptable. Many thanks, Mr. Domingo. And quickly, we come to the end of this program. We're almost at the end. And we see I want to say, yes, we've been supposed to talk about SLAFA. We've talked about them already. Quickly, I want to see between the two members, then what we get for help with understand. Three things. Let we quiz them together. In other words, compact them. Free education, we energy needs, okay? And the Ministry of Labor in terms of sending we people them to a foreign land, most especially the Middle East. But what I want to begin with again, I want to begin with the free education and agriculture. Recently, we see the president making a good point on agriculture. But once I support the president, what the president say, their populist program they are politically motivated. We're not going to go by them. We want something where we can able to articulate policy-wise in terms of the agriculture program, so that in the end, we go derive or arrive at what we anticipate for arrive at. Mr. Domingo, again, the president on the agriculture policy. The president, of course, the president in flag Biara policy, which is free education. Help me for understanding TINEA, because this is not the end of the program effectually. Help me for understand, brother, if you can, please.
Thank you very much for having me chime in on this particular subject, because it's near and dear to my heart. Agriculture, we get for feed the nation, and not only first in this, we get them kind of big program there. We don't get the green revolution. Back in the days, when they get the agricultural trade fair there, they go different sides of the country. Agriculture very important. The president go I think at Cambia, somewhere in the northwest, Sulima, or inside, and they talk about agriculture. Is great. Now, the fact of the matter is, we'll get for take that one to the next level. We don't only want for the see things them on internet, social media, just to say, okay, whether they cut the ribbon, now in they get the praise. We don't want for the see that, they want for the see action. So like the agriculture tractor them, or the thing then, the program where the government get, let them able for help local farmers then for make them go able for say, okay, we they able for utilize the resources that we have so that we go grow the local produce with basic staple food what we they eat, rice. We able for get sufficient rice, we will make price of rice go down now we country. Because now for the most part, then they import a lot of rice into Sierra Leone. And me believe say with all the lands and way they go upline, especially in the north. I travel extensively in the northern province and also the southern province. We get vast array of land where people can plant, whether now swamp or whatever you want to do, we'll go for plant rest and all that thing there. Bottom line is, then get forget the program where they support local farmers them and able for even subsidize them and buy them, produce them for make people them all around the country where you get forget basic food and for it. I applaud the president for that. Me, I tell you this to the Prince and Mohamed. My point is, I want government to succeed, whether or not this government or next government, it no matter, as long as my country good, for the general good of the people, this is what I want for my country. Now for education, you and I, Prince, I assume say we're about the same age. Now academy, you gonna so.
Yes, and I'll just give you, spare me 30 seconds, 45 seconds. Yes, you are right. I went to the Albert Academy, Esekwan Videri, rather to be that on theme. And I went there when education was a priority, when it was good then. And this is back in 1977 when I took my selective entrance, went to Academy, 1978, one white, two white, so 77, 78, 79, yes. That's what it is, sir. Yes, I went there.
So me in exactly the same age, now the same year I go Prince of Wales, 1977, 78. So let me move on. Throughout your time now Albert Academy and also we go up, go college and what have you, you see say education don't be turned on its head upside down. Over time, we don't lost so many things that we not the benefits like which will be the get in the past. So you and I will go agree, and Mr. Turay, sorry, instead of go agree, which we say, well, education on go down small bits, we need for bring and come up. Now, waiting I see in the last election, because I was deeply involved in the last election, during the debate, you get APC, SLPP, NGC, C4C. Now, I mean, then get to that party, Usai Kamarembade. Then they're on stage. If you listen to the manifesto of education, all the party them get similar agenda for education. They want to make education go because they want to invest in the people, human resource, and the best thing. They talk all kinds of things. But here is where SLPP was different. When it was Madabio in turn, Madabio say, if they elect the SLPP government to power, they're going to make education free. Boom, it connects. Because that one, the 9 people, because many picking and not me, they go school again because people let me say they're not getting money for sending picking go school. Now, let's fast forward. Then come with that program, the buzzword was free education. But in my opinion, I don't think they had processes in place, or they not mean get kind of like a game plan, how then they roll out that free education day. So in the first few years, they mean they're all over the place with rice, with school buses that they come. You insisted there was not a comprehensive education policy. Now I say, okay, the Minister of Education now they try in the only little way for try forget some form of reform where then they work on and waiting. And for now, I believe say it's too early for give a judgment because it's only been 3 years or more. But let me give them small time because this program where they start so the only time we'll be able to see good results and know if it don't work or it will work. Now after 10 years.
Yeah. Okay. Well said, sir. And we don't come to the end of the program. But of course, there's not an individual guest. We get a secondary guest. Mr. Turay, you've heard. You're in the last part of what you will say. You're waiting, Mr. Domingo, don't go on for say. What say you, sir?
Well, first of all, thank you, Mr. Domingo, for that also brilliant contribution. So, as far as education is concerned, we all know since the war done, education no better than a saloon. Thank God some of we able to complete even university during the time before the war, which is, education, we agree. It don't drop. But over the years, we don't see some progress they come, high institutions then they come up, and the enrollment rates also they increase. We know that. And by all means, any government will come, we want to let it increase enrollment and let education come better. Now, way for improve the human capital of the society. Down there, are they in agreement with them? But I think the only concern we get by adding something like free, because when you say free, that one they go make a lot of buzz to the population, all man go like them. But how free is education? Where they say, how do you pay for it? Because when we look at the things that we publicly pronounced by the government of this day, for say, then go do cooking, then go do uniform, then go do this, but we all get families in Sierra Leone. They ask me for money, and we send all the time. We're not to private school, we did send all the time. So I think say that one day, the idea of saying free like concern. Now, I believe say a lot of things that the government say and they succeed. And I want to be clear here, the public dairy, it's not like getting into people that stuff, want to blame their politics. But I want to let we know, say, we always see there and the one way they outside, we are all stakeholders to Sierra Leone. And as stakeholders, we have a stake in that country. And now from since independence to now, for the first time, Sierra Leoneans then get mind for talk. Before, they just let very few people and families then dominate the politics of Sierra Leone. Then they do what they do, like Mr. Kroma, what he say, one kind of the studio, people they say they go politicize. You have the right to talk about it. You are a citizen of Sierra Leone. You have a stake in that country. Let's talk about the issues. People then for ask you, how do you pay for the free education? Because Sierra Leone don't get the resources. They have to rely on begging. Okay. So that's the problem. Now, I'll go to the second point. Okay, yeah.
Go on, please.
Okay. No, continue. Just ask me.
Oh no, I mean just want to conclude the show on a thing what I think say we for highlight on, and I think say I've been getting the opportunity for Zoom on them. But if I didn't, then of course this is an opportunity for me. But if I did, then of course it's a plus, which is from the Ministry of Labor, now the Republic of Sierra Leone. We find out for say, we continue for send we people, and I repeat, we people into the Middle East, into harm's way. And the reason why I say this, because I can revert back to evidence when I hammer home my point, now because I get evidence. In other words, so the government, they say, well, we want to send we people to Middle East for employment reasons, and we go safeguard them and protect them. But we've seen in the past that governments have done almost the same thing. I'm not accusing this government of doing the same thing, because that would be very foolish, if not the same thing that they do for achieve the same result. But in this sense, we people, and they send them now back to the Middle East. The Middle East is not friendly to us as Black people in general. Let's be specific about Sierra Leone. But yet, after a brief lull, our people then will understand, say, the Ministry of Labor, they plan for send them back. I can go into detail, but because of time constraint, I just want to go back to we two panelists and we tend to understand the situation as to how they think about them. I will go to Mr. Mohamed Turay last. I want to begin with Mr. Harold Domingo on this issue, sir. We people and then they send them Middle East. We get a history of how they treat you in the Middle East. There's open slavery of Black people, no respect of me and you, or people that will look like me and you, not the Middle East. Yet, we government, as we speak today, are planning on sending us back there. What do you say, Mr. Domingo?
Well, first of all, the reason why my government want for sending people and they go over is because we not get any kind of job creation tool in our country for able for employ them people and most of them, I know say they're not educated, so they go school and they're not go back to school, they're not learn any trade. And the unemployment among youths or young people, I think, is probably upwards of 40 to 50% probably. Most people don't work there. So now the government see this as an opportunity for making them sending people and go out. When you look at it, you can look at from a standpoint wherein this program is similar to me, like what we call the au pair program, where nanny them or not see them at this part of the world, they can go sit and go work with the family and stuff. It is nothing new. It's all over the world. Going to the Middle East, I don't work in the Middle East. I don't live there. And I'm not going to look at like for say them bad to with people, but sometimes the circumstance with some of them people and they defend themselves. Again, I don't let anybody call me to me not based on me experience. If they go there illegally, they not get paper and stuff like that, then they get problem. Just like with somebody go England or America, they not get paper. You got to go work under the table or go make false documents. In a country, then it's very difficult. So also you defend yourself. You get for all your nose and say, you know what, let Abia. Now, you're looking from a standpoint wherein if the program works well, and this is my opinion, I might be wrong. If the program works well, then people in the way don't go into the Middle East, they're able for work, save money, and they're able for send foreign remittances into Sierra Leone. We go also contribute to a gross domestic product. That's the positive side of things. Just like you and I, all three of us here in this program, Mr. Kroma, you're in the United Kingdom, and Mr. Turay, you're in the United States, maybe in Canada. From time to time, we send money for with people there. That one day they go for contribute to with foreign exchange remittance system where they go into the country. When you look at that, it's a good thing. However, because of the circumstance where they find, and they not get a structured way of how this thing and they work in terms of looking at the human rights conditions them under which people and they live. The embassies then where they around that area, they for me then go able for monitor and reticular. And if they get any kind of complaints coming from their au pair, I call them, where then go able for report to embassy, and embassy will therefore go engage their own government and say, this was not the thing we'll be signed up for, or that kind of stuff. Then we get into that diplomatic whatever. But for make a long story short, we get to this point, USA we get to, because the government necessarily not sabia for create jobs. Everything where they can in our country day, now through foreign investments, company can mining or what have you, okay, let we employ X amount of people there. If the price of iron ore fall in the world market, then that mining company they fall up. Guess what? All the people that they work, they don't go out of job again. So we get systems in our country where we start for train, then people in the service industry, whether you do tailoring, you do for make cookery, you know, they have 15 and number way we do.
So okay, Mr. Domingo. Make me just repose this back to you because you make so much critical points, but I want to be specific. So in terms of all what you say, it's quite justifiable. Government has a responsibility for provide or make a situation, the environment, employable for in people, whether not local, domestic, or international. Government be able for harness some of that international enthusiasm, we go benefit the nation as a whole. But based on the history, and I repeat, sir, based on the history of the relationship with we and the Middle East, me and you as the way I will look, XYZ, Black people, we've not been treated kindly. And The record is there to speak for itself. In Libya, we get open day slavery. In the UAE, Kuwait, and all these Gulf countries, we've not been treated with respect. So we present government in trying to create employment for Sierra Leoneans then, is now embarking on that same project which the old government employ, which did not work very well, not implying that it cannot work this time, but then they use that same method with the same people there for employee into some kind of labor, we go benefit we country. And this now my question, Mr. Domingo. What do you read into this? Is it just the same of the same, or is there going to be a difference this time backed up by a government in terms of policy for say, no, you will not be abused this time because we've been abused in the past. We continue to be abused. We've been sold publicly. And there's a market there for kidney. And we know say black people are like me and you, they no respect we, if I can put on straightforward, for nothing. What say you again before I go to we other guest?
Oh, yeah, Englishmen say the devil is in the details. And sometimes I can be very careful while they do me analysis and make points then, because whatever I get for remain on Facebook or YouTube for the rest of your life. So I'll be very careful here.
Very true, sir.
The fundamental problem I think we have in our country as a people is the way we do things, number one. And then number two is our mindset, our mentality, how Sierra Leoneans and they think. Because I just gave you the positive side of the program, what we call the au pair program. We don't get bad experiences in the past. Now, if we hit the reset button, and because of lack of jobs in Sierra Leone, then I think say the first process we then forget for go is say, okay, then people are so what they say. Number one, we get for protect their human rights. Number two, then they go into the country with paper and we sign an agreement, say where then go if the landlady or whoever then go work to or work with, they treat them any kind of way, the people then get right for left and go find all that job and so like that. Why then people in this being maltreated or mistreated, in my opinion, and I'm not an expert in that field. I lived in the Middle East. My experience in the Middle East was completely different because I went there as a professional. So I know they can't claim, say, at the end all be all. It's a beautiful country. The people can be nice to you and what have you. However, the fundamental problem with this program where I see so, and God make it go inside government in heart, now, for making them get measures in place wherein then they protect the citizens of our republic when they go to foreign land in terms of the human rights, in terms of their well-being and all the other things there. Any case of rape case, let them say and go to international court. You see, I just strongly believe so. We're not to get any kind, we're not to protect the citizens and within and outside the country. This is my opinion, and I might be wrong, but again, it is my opinion, and we're open for conversation. And Mr. Turay, honestly, I go on for make an very young viewpoint because you don't remain quiet for quite some time now. So I can yield my time over to you, and then we are.
Thank you very much, Mr. Domingo. You are a very smart man. On this issue, Mr. Turay. Now, something very close to him, of course, I was going to bring them to him, but unknowingly to you, and because you are very smart, you already see into this. It's not like looking gun person. So anyway, Mr. Turay, these are something very close to you. Let me hear your view on this particular issue, please.
Thank you. First of all, as you know, Mr. Koma, are very concerned about brothers and sisters them, and I don't hide this, I don't post them many times. I completely be against the idea of Alpha Timbo for go public and try for go convince and confuse young minds for letting go do housework. Where you say the majority of them will not go able to come back na Sierra Leone than normal. You know, mean say they go die or they go physically hurt. but I believe say they will get certain experience where they not will ever be the same again. The Arabs, as we all know, they not like black man. Even the 10, and I'm sorry for bringing this, according to people of land, even the 10 of the prophet, the first man with called prayer, Bilal, a black man, one of the disciples, they make a very racial statement against him, and he was defended by the prophet. I'll be on the record for that. And they say this because we don't get examples. We get people in Iraq, in Kuwait, in different parts of the Middle East, where we say we sister them, they don't, and it happen right now.
So let me come back. Let me come back to the current issue quickly because we are actually out of time. Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. Yeah, what I'm talking about is how could a government think about sending their own citizens for going to a place where they already get a track record of maltreating our sisters? How could they think about it? So I don't think say a wise idea. I think say they go put with sister them, brothers them, now conditions they way not good for them, I dare against them. I don't get time for talk like Mr. Domingo before. Don't talk a lot, but we have time. But all what they say is it's a wrong idea. The government, the beneficiary of this Nabio, because what will happen is Bio will turn around, it will get money from the Saudi government. And so the poor young women, then families, they don't get any benefit. There is no remittance.
Let me say this quickly, if you go allow me, please. Yeah.
Sure.
So you say, Mr. B, the people that we're going to benefit, now the president of the republic. Hang on, brother. But if you benefit the president of the republic, the reason supposedly why he go into this in the first place, now for benefiting citizens them, because he does have a responsibility, and whatever benefit members say you know need no personal benefit from there in terms of the material benefit we go derive from there, other than as a president of the republic at the time, this is what he did, and waiting trickle down.
Wait, can I say something?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, sure.
Now, first of all, I strongly believe, say, over the years, no country, the way the government itself, they create the entire facility, the Senate for go be servants there, now house job, now Saudi Arabia or Middle East. No government do one.
Have you done your due diligence? I'll just ask you this again. You've done, yeah? Okay,
you get agencies where they smuggle, where they exist. Maybe the government in plain sight or whatever, and they overlook them. But governments, they said, don't negotiate for letting do this.
Okay, I want to pause right there. I could be wrong again, but me understanding, I just one way, because I don't want you go too far, which is, you could be, or you are absolutely right. The reason why government come into this as a whole is because of the record of what happened in the past. Government is just an interlocutor. In other words, a middle party between the people and where they carry on with this, and government, they provide that security, that sanctuary, that confidence for say, okay, at this time, we there with the watch. Not so we they enact this, but una way they go ahead with them, una can count on we, and this is what potentially the government of President Julius Maada Bio could have done in this case. Do I make sense? Do I make sense?
I get a different view.
Sure, why not? Of course.
We all know in the last couple of years, countries like Kenya, they take active role for letting them pull the citizens the way they suffer in the Middle East. We know Ethiopia, the girl, after that girl with a tie, they turn up one, naked one, they beat until to death. Then take the citizens them. Bangladesh, then get out safely. So I follow up with that. Now, because of this, then they lose housemates in the Middle East. People are not they go again. So now few smugglers, then even the one who don't go, so then sister, then they run common. So this now, then government ask Bio for let you do this for them. And so in return, I ain't go benefit. So it's not like Bio just
1 minute, Mr. Domingo. Hold on.
It's not just one fair job for people. Bio is the beneficiary here because they meet them because they're losing people in the household system, and people in there they lose their
quick one, Mr. Turay.
Yeah.
Bio is the beneficiary here.
Oh yeah.
How is he? How so?
Well, how is the beneficiary? First of all, as our nation, basically, we all know people in the good and the struggle. Akebu had say, when they get money, they come out from the Akebu, see from the IMF and World Bank, when they come, then when they go, then they go to the government, he pay himself for he don't work at them. How many people are willing to suffer? How many most money would they spend on that country?
That's beginning to sound more ridiculous now, Mr. Turay.
No,
and I will get for.
I'm ridiculous there. I am ridiculous because I'm just now scenario normally. That's another discussion. But what I say is now because he asked the question, the benefits where the government, the only benefit here is.
Yeah, but we were talking about these guest workers, them, as opposed to the IMF and the World Bank. So
let's don't go there. I just want you. Let's don't go there. But what I'm
saying, that's what you were just articulating earlier on.
I'm sorry for go there. I
okay.
Want myself now, but I know sometimes.
Okay. Hold your thoughts right there. Let me hear it from Mr. Domingo quickly before you lose in train of thought. You want to say something?
Yes, I mean, just one for talk to Mr. Turay, say, then this program or programs and similar to this is being done by the West. You get agency because look, now research. So before I come into the program, I mean, also we get for can talk about this. So I read about the au pair, AUPAIR, sorry, au pair. Now, no, see, you get agency then when at the private sector they work. When they search for people and they send and go overseas, so whether in France, England, America, Canada, agencies and they. I think our problem is how this program for work in terms of say, okay, government now don't become part of it. And we in Sierra Leone, government, after God, now government. So government is everything. Government handle by everything. Waiting government for ensure, for do, where I think say this thing will probably benefit them when they will not get work. And when they look and say, oh, well, and you go back to then yes, you get that, we will get for happen. But if they take the necessary steps then and get certain laws them at the books, probably the abuse not going to be so rampant. That is my point. Because seriously, you know how many of we sisters in a salon not the work? Them beaucoup, what's it them beaucoup? Me man, I mean, then I want forum. We not just with the shoot the breeze. Then maybe then go there and a forum day from morning till the net, bruh. Okay. All day.
Harold,
then go tell the work.
Harold and Mohamed, we have run out of this program, but this has been quite an interesting program on the basis of the end itself. That we can disagree for agree. And the fact that Mr. Mohamed is listening and Mr. Harold Domingo is listening means that we are making headways. And even though I'm not able to give you a chance for let you finish that point the way they make about forum, then where you day into which many of the people in they walk and waiting in the say day is quite important. It's the same thing as waiting Mr. Mohamed Turay, they kind of say the intention of government broadly, and at this now we need for understand, is for make that gains day for sure say, well, we number of unemployed people are reducing. Yes. Now, government in responsibility for make sure that they employ people in gainful employment, because when people are in gainful employment, then they contribute to the taxation process and the social problems are less. So despite we go on for blame the Julius Maada Bio government, the same thing was the same of the Ernest Koroma government in terms of this last part of the conversation we get. But there are many things that we not agree with, but we can take and say we disagree for agree, or vice versa, agree for disagree. And at some point, we go get for come again. I want to say thank you so much to Brother Mohamed Turay. This is your first time on the dinner now, but certainly not the last time. And Mr. Harold Domingo, same thing, very first time, but certainly not the last time. And I shall be in touch. And whilst I go off on social media, live stream on Facebook and YouTube, I stay on the platform, because when I go off, we will still be on how you call them on Zoom, but it's not live to the rest of the world. Thank you so much to the rest of the world, and happy New Week. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Yeah, bye-bye. Bye, Paul. Record on this computer, record, close caption, stop live.